Welcome to the Bleaves Crypto Show. My name is Bleaves. We're here to talk about this crazy crypto world, and we're going to lead off with something amazing right now. We've got an update, a massive update on Benjamin Franklin Delano Roosevelt Armstrong. Guys, I want you guys to know that I've spoken with Ben's team. We've got an idea of what's going on. There's been some allegations. The allegations are that there were lawsuits, that there was potentially just crazy stuff going on in the realm of Ben Armstrong. And guess what? It's not real. None of this stuff is true. And I'm going to take you through it so that you guys know exactly what's going on. All right. So if you like this type of content, make sure that you hit the like button. You might notice some pivots over the next couple of days. I want to thank you guys for being with me this far into the journey. And we're going to do a lot of new stuff here. Technical analysis, technical content, you're going to get it. Educational content, you're going to get it. The crypto school down in the link below, you're going to get it. So sit down, hold tight, strap on, strap in, strap whatever you got wherever you want to strap it. It's not my job to judge. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleaves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. My name is Bleaves. If you haven't already, I'm always right, so you don't have to be. Hit that like button on your way in, and let's talk about what's going on with Benjamin Armstrong. So for those of you that have been sleeping under a rock, and this video, by the way, 760,000 views. This is where we are. Atozy, now, for those of you that don't remember, has had an acrimonious relationship with Ben Armstrong because Ben sued him for calling him a scammer because of a very specific crypto that Ben was promoting that ended up being a rug pull. Now, to silence, in fact, there are plenty of different people that use their money in situations and throw money at people to try to stop them from talking about them. It's a way for the wealthy people who can afford an attorney to silence the people who cannot afford an attorney. Okay, now at this point, Atozy was basically claiming poverty at that point, had not, quote unquote, made it in crypto or made it in YouTube, wherever it was that he was in his lane. So he's doing this, he's clout chasing, if you will. That's what Ben always called it, clout chasing. So he got sued by Ben to be silenced. People put up the money for him to fight, and it turns out that it just kind of goes away. Ben withdrew the lawsuit, and it ended, and he stopped talking about Atozy. But for Atozy, the benefit had already happened, and this means that sometimes Atozy is going to lean into his meal ticket to try to continue to build on what's going on. So, crypto millionaire who sued me now facing 15 years in jail. Now, that's where it gets interesting. So I said, wait a minute, that's wild that Ben's facing 15 years in jail and prison, and I don't know anything about it because, I talked to him or the team. So what would be going on? Maybe this is something maybe this is just one of those embarrassing developments that could be happening. Now, to give you guys a brief summary of what really transpired, Timothy Shed, the current owner of, I don't even know what the fuck it's called now. I think it's called Hit Network. Timothy Shed and the rest of his crew took over Ben's company. Okay, Discover Crypto is what it's called now. I'm sorry, Hit Network's what it was called before. They took it over. Ben and Tim had been having a falling out. There were issues. I won't get into the details of the issues, but there were issues, concerns, and problems. And instead of Ben basically saying, get out of my company, which of course he founded the company, instead, Timothy Shed, who Ben had signed the contract, used what was in the contract, the agreement between them, to make Ben exit. Now, at this point, Ben hasn't been compensated and paid by Discover Crypto for the channel. That being said, this was 3 years ago almost. So this has been a wild sort of ride. Now, in the meantime, Ben did have a very prominent and public meltdown. We saw it all play out. There were a bunch of different things. I've been involved in some of this process along the way. Not enough that I'm an expert, by the way, but enough of the process that I understood a lot of things that were going on in the background. So I can speak a little bit to this, all right, which is why I'm doing this today. Now, let me just kind of give you the update of what's going on. Bringing us up here, back in July, Ben was arrested in Volusia County, Florida, and transferred to, I want to say, I don't think it was Cobb County. Yeah, it was Cobb County, I think so. Yeah, Cobb County, where he faced a situation in which he had, quote unquote, threatened a judge. All right, that is exactly what happened. Now, to this point, the latest setback arrived in October. This is a quote directly from where we got our information, where I think Atozy got his information. And again, Atozy just clout chasing Ben Armstrong right now because it's good for his channel. It's good for his business. Now, the article, in fact, came from a place called 99 Bitcoins. 99 Bitcoins is an educational channel or a news channel, news coverage, altcoin news, and expert analysis. Now, it's not a huge channel, but it is a crypto channel, and it does seem to be at least, the content is not constantly updated. You're not seeing gigantic amounts of content, so it's probably a small channel. But I remember the name when I heard it the first time. So I know that it's been in the ecosystem for a while. So I don't want to discredit anything about what they're saying to this point. Now, 99 Bitcoins, where the article came from. So when you start to break it down, and I won't show you the article because it goes back a couple of days, and I don't see, there's a search, so maybe we could do this, Ben Armstrong. No result found. So that's weird, right? Well, let's go to the next piece. It was written, by the way, and in fact, I should have it. I should have saved it. I may not have saved it, but here it is, so that you guys know exactly where this was coming from. It came from comedian Isaiah McCall. Comedian and author Isaiah McCall, who says that, and he is the, over here, he's the Afro reporter from New York City journalist, 99 Bitcoins HQ. And then he has his McCall Isaiah at medium.com. So he's a comedian that considers himself to be a news source. Okay. That, to me, that sounds a tad sketchy, that he's blurring the line between reality and whatever he wants to be funny. But I don't know that to be the case, and I'm not saying that that is the case. I'm just saying that at this point, we've got a comedian who's telling us that he's a serious journalist, telling us that Ben Armstrong is going to prison for 15 years. Now, let's go a step further here, and here it is, 99 Bitcoins. Here is the article. Sorry. BitBoy crypto collapse deepens as new legal problems surface for Ben. This was written by Isaiah McCall on November 28th, and this was fact-checked by Sam Cooling. Now, I've also fact-checked. Not true. I went to the Cobb County, and by the way, it's public search, it's public lookup. Is Ben facing 15 years? The answer to that is absolutely not. Okay? As a matter of fact, the judge was not a federal judge to begin with, which was part of some of this stuff that they were talking about. And by the way, the lines get blurred here. Atozy was lying and manipulating and deceiving you by saying that it was a federal judge. It was not. So going through this, there are other things that are still outstanding. One of them, defamation lawsuit with Kevin O'Leary. Now, if you don't remember, back in March of this year, Ben started on a rant over Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary has been getting into crypto content, and I think that he's got one of those channels that Rodney and Jake are on. I think he's, I think that he does something with crypto. I don't know exactly what it is, but he does something with the crypto industry in that lane. Okay. And so he said that he was a real life murderer. He said that, and by the way, here's what happened. In a few years back, Kevin O'Leary's wife was on a boat. The boat killed 2 people. That's the end of the story. Ben decided to start calling Kevin O'Leary a murderer. Okay. Was that a wise move? I don't think so. But Kevin O'Leary did what Ben Armstrong did. He filed a lawsuit, and Kevin O'Leary has enough money that he can tie this up in courts and that he can basically bankrupt anybody who talks about him. So he's using that as a bludgeon to try to silence any dissent. So the case is still ongoing in the Southern District of Florida, and that's where that is. Okay. Again, this is a billionaire trying to suffocate somebody who is saying something that he doesn't agree with using a legal process that is skewered towards the wealthy. That's what our American system is. By the way, if you haven't seen that before and you don't know that, now you do. The way that you get silenced, the way that you get shut up in America, the real way is you attack somebody like, say, Kevin O'Leary. Okay, Kevin O'Leary doesn't like your freedom of speech. He doesn't like what you're saying because you're making some kind of accusation or something like that. You're not saying it's parody. And by the way, there are specific lanes to this, okay? So, but in order to silence you, in order to stop you from talking about things that he doesn't want you to talk about, then he throws a lot of his money at trying to silence you. By doing that, what he's doing is he's filing a lawsuit, and that lawsuit is going to draw on in court. You're going to do continuance after continuance after continuance. This has been going on right now for a long time, and what they do is they keep continuing it because then you have to pay for your attorney, and you have to keep paying them $500 an hour to keep working on it, and the attorney is using that as, I'm putting 10 hours a week into this thing, baby. I need $5,000 a week. So now you're paying $20,000 a month to an attorney to represent you for a case that keeps getting continued until you run out of money and you can no longer afford it. And then you have to drop everything, and then you have to hope that person that person is also going to drop it. And then when you do it, you're going to pay a nuisance fee to settle the case, plus you've been paying your attorney all that time. And that's the way that the rich are suffocating those of us that are doing these things. Okay, so you get suffocated. That's basically it. All right. So just understand, please, that Ben did do something wrong. He did make an accusation against this guy, but the end result of that was what I'm saying right now is that he's got this, kind of crazy thing happening here with Kevin O'Leary. Also, there's a CFTC subpoena. By the way, Ben Armstrong, not named in the CFTC subpoena. Now, how did we get to a point where Isaiah McCall, the comedian journalist, and Sam Cooling, by the way, I have no idea who the fuck Sam Cooling is. I went through the process over here, and he's basically just author at 99 Bitcoins, the lead editor at 99. I assume that this means that he is most likely the owner or something like that. I can't see that a place this small wouldn't be, I assume this guy probably started the site or something like that. Okay. And he verified it. Well, you go to Cobb County and it's not verified, but they made this as sort of an allegation. Now, again, we've got a comedian journalist and a fact checker who didn't do any fact checking. Here is the statement that I've got right now. Okay. I'm not going to show it to you, but I'm going to read it. The guy's timeline is trash. Even if the judge in Cobb County decided to make a case of what happened here, that would have been charged. Not in Florida. He's not on probation in 2 counties for misdemeanors, or he's on probation in 2 counties, unsupervised, for misdemeanors, and those were just settled. And while former collaborators on X claim he has been selling everything not bolted down, that is not true. And by the way, just so you guys understand, it is possible that they talked to AJ and Justin and they don't have anything nice to say about Ben at this point because of that last spiral. but it's not true, no matter what. None of this stuff that these guys are saying is true. Now, it could be true, and you could maybe make an argument for yourself that, perhaps somebody told them this, but it really looks like this is a comedian doing comedy skits and calling it real news at this point. Unnamed sources. By the way, if you ever listen to our president of the United States, Donald Fahrenheit Trump, then you would know that anybody who doesn't reveal their sources is lying to you. Remember? You don't say some people are saying. You don't do stuff like that. You either reveal your source or you're lying. So what can we glean from that? And it's the President of the United States. So obviously, they must be lying. So we've already gone through this whole process here and spent, by the way, last night and this morning verifying all the information. There's no big situation in which Ben Armstrong is involved in a 15-year prison sentence for some kind of federal judge attack. So Atozy, congratulations, you are a liar. Kevin O'Leary, good luck in whatever it is that you're doing. CFTC, that's Discover Crypto. That's not Ben Armstrong. So let's get into chat now, and let's look at what's going on over here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure, again, that you hit that like button on the way in. We've got Sebastian in. What happened to Ben? All right, so we've gotten into that. Funny thing is, I don't remember any shills when I watched the old BitBoy. DGen Brian says that. And by the way, it's because they're good at not showing you shills. It's good. It's because, when you dress up the content like it's you just figuring and discovering something, then it doesn't seem like that. That's all it is. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it is right there. Now, banter, there's an entirely different story. Yes, Crypto Banter has done some wild stuff, and Bug Eyes has just thrown, like he's done some really shady stuff and then just pretended like he didn't do it. I saw people that used to do things on Crypto Banter where, what the Bug Eyed guys, the guy with the big eyes, the come on, help me out here, guys. The guys that look like the alien from Star Wars. Ran. He has said and he's promoted a specific thing on a stream. By the end of the stream was telling you he never said anything good about it. It's wild. Like I see these broken down over and over again. He's using, I don't know what that tactic is. I think it's called the Roy Cohen tactic, but just kind of wild. Good morning to Latama. Derek Heim wants to know, when am I going to stop losing money? When you start trusting the process, baby. DJ and Brian says next year. Atozy takes meat to the face. Listen, I don't even know who Atozy was. I knew Atozy in a third person way, in that Ben once told me that there was somebody named Atozy that he had sued. Like I heard about it through that mechanism, but I don't consume his content. I'm not a fan. Look, if you're trans, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not going to consume your content or anything like that. And if you're about to tell me, well, he's not, bro, I'm going to debate that one, man, because I took the time last night to go watch at least the first few minutes and kind of skim through the article. You can put YouTube on like 3x and just go really fast so that you don't have to sit there and watch the whole thing. So I got the parts that I needed, where he was lying about it being a federal judge and all of those kind of things, So I just don't know what is going on there. Anyway, is that Young Bleeves lying in bed? Yes, it is. Yes, it was. That was a real me. Yeah. King Crimson cover art finally got a commercial and didn't miss anything important. Lunk is ripping. Yes, it is. For guys, if you haven't seen it, Luna Classic is going out of its mind right now. Do you think Dev is going to go lower, thinking of buying more stuff, or should I wait? If it dips, I don't suspect it's going to dip very far. There's too much. There's too much momentum right now towards the end of the year. It will dip if the team at Dev is full of it and they don't have their announcement by the end of the year like they have laid out in their roadmap. If they don't meet their roadmap, then yes, there's going to be a big dump, because people are going to get frustrated with having they listened, they trusted, and when you listen and you trust and you don't get the reward for your listening and your trust, and you're basically holding the floor, if you will, if you don't get rewarded for that, some people are just going to be like, nope, forget it. This is I'm over this. This is not going to happen. These guys are full of it. you're going to see that happen. So I don't know whether it will or will not happen. To be honest with you guys, I have no reason to doubt the team. The team comes through whenever they say they're going to come through. So, let's just see what happens. So, just not sure. Janet Lachey says, is Moon AI not a thing for Pablo anymore? He's launching a new pre-sale. I don't know. I mean, listen, Moon AI, I got out at a 2x originally on the pump, and I haven't looked back. I don't pay attention to it. Well, I do pay attention to it in that it was very weird for me to see it the other day and see that it was at like almost a 2 million market cap, while Meme Linked was only at I want to say about a 500,000 market cap. So, that part was kind of weird. And now I heard that he's launching something else, but that all of it is going to lead back to Meme Linked eventually. I don't know anything about that. Listen, I'm one of the things that I'm going to talk to you guys about at some point very soon is I am out of the meme coin market. There's just, like, for me, I just don't feel like it serves us as a community very well. I don't think that, I think we're going to stop talking about meme coins. Okay. I think that's it. I think we're just going to stop doing it. We're just going to stop talking about meme coins. Maybe we'll talk about them if they make it, to the top 100 or something like that. Maybe we'll give SHIB a look. Maybe we'll give Dogecoin a look. Maybe we'll talk about a few of them along the way when they start pumping or something. But otherwise, I think we're going to steer clear of some of these unless somebody comes to me with promotional stuff, and I'll let you guys know that it's promotional. Like, there's one that I gave you the other day. It's in the chat right now, but it's not really a meme coin because it's an actual DEX that's launching on SWI. It's going to be the largest DEX on SWI. So, we're just going to stay away, and we're going to start focusing on things that matter, things with utility, because at this point, memes are just a scam. And I never thought I would say that. I always thought I would say that memes are, what is it that Henoch and Jake Gagan and all these guys tried to convince you of? They're culture. They're culture coins. That's what it was. They called it, for a while, they called it culture. Well, their culture is shit, because all of these things are dumping catastrophically. You get lucky every once in a while. You throw $10 at something and it becomes $10,000. But then most likely you throw $1,000 at it and it becomes $10. You know what I mean? So, I mean, basically, I think this is... I think it's a weird thing. So we're going to move on here, and we're going to get back out of chat. We're going to get back into the news. We're going to start with Kobayashi. We've got some more news on Terra Luna Classic. It's coming up in just a moment here. President Trump has approved tiny cars to be built in the U.S. Guys, tiny cars in the U.S. Were already approved. This is the dumbest thing anybody's ever tried to confirm is true. Donald Trump says, I have just approved tiny cars to be built in America. Manufacturers have long wanted to do this, but just like they are so successfully built in other countries, they can be propelled by gasoline, electric, or hybrid. These cars are the very near future, are inexpensive, safe, fuel efficient, and quite simply amazing. Start building them now. Thank you to the DOJ and the Department of Transportation and Environment. Enjoy, President Donald J. Trump. Now, what does that mean? To be honest with you guys, that doesn't mean anything, because here are I think it's called subcompact cars banned in America. No, subcompact cars are not banned in America. You can still purchase new subcompact vehicles in the United States. However, the variety has significantly decreased in recent years due to a combination of market demand shifts towards larger SUVs, fuel economy regulations, and profit margins for automakers. Okay, so the reason that there aren't any small micro subcompact cars is because they're not profitable. So what Donald Trump, I guess, is asking is to kind of cut into those profits and start doing things to try to help. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's the tiny car thing. I don't know who it is that's coming to him with this kind of strategy and idea. I support it, absolutely. But it's not true that they've approved tiny cars to be built in the U.S. Tiny cars have never been banned in the United States. They just don't make any money, so major corporations ignore them. You know, you get maybe a Ford Focus or something like that to be the smallest sort of thing, and those are just, you know, I think they're Jesus Christ, they're called sedan or something like that. I don't know, but weird, just kind of weird here. Some numbers here. 1.2 million Americans have been laid off in 2025. That's the equivalent to the combined population of San Francisco and Miami. Recent layoff announcement, U.S. government, 307,000 employees. I'll take that, by the way. I will take that. Not really hating on that one. UPS, 48,000. Don't like that. Amazon, 30,000. Don't like that. Intel, 24,000. Don't like that. All of this feel like AI to you? Because it feels like some of this is AI related to me. Nestle, 16,000. Verizon, 15,000. Accenture, 11,000. Ford, 11,000. Novo Nordisk, 9,000. Microsoft, 7,000. Price Waterhouse, 5,600. There's a lot of people laying off a lot of employees now. And that's not great for our labor market. Now, what do we need for the labor market to get better and healthier? What we need, by the way, in that regard. Anybody have any idea? I don't either. See what I did there? Just kind of laid it out and then was like, I have no fucking idea what's going to happen next. I have no idea. I mean, look, AI is going to take over a lot of these different things, okay? We've been told and promised from President Trump that there will be a lot of jobs, trillions of dollars coming back into the United States in terms of manufacturing jobs, returnings, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, all you have to do at this point, just have a little patience, wait for it. You're going to see a nice little kick up in the market. I'm sure you're going to see some employment. Anyway, this really establishes the need for a massive rate cut. I'm not sure we're going to get that massive rate cut right now, but Jerome Powell is still in charge. But the Fed is meeting next week, and we're going to get the information on it. So I'm excited. Fingers crossed this is going to be a big one. No bull market peak indicators are hit. Sign up for the channel if you haven't already. TerraCasino.io. Guys, for your risk-based gaming needs, tonight you got football coming on. You got college football playing out. And you got tomorrow, you got college football playing out. And then Sunday, the NFL, the Chicago Bears, and the Green Bay Packers. Who do you got? Let me know in the comments down below. It's got to be the Chicago Bears. How could you say anything but the Chicago Bears? If you don't, what's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? By the way, if you're making a little bit of money on Luna Classic today, make sure that you sign up for Terra Casino because we're going to give away some money. Terraport.finance if you want to buy any meme coins. And guess what? If you want to buy any meme coins, according to the DEX, you are going to Terraport right now to buy them. The number one. By the way, Garuda was number one yesterday with over 80,000. Over 80,000 in trades on Garuda yesterday. Things started to break out. I mean, absolutely break out. Even TerraSwap, $13,000 yesterday. So buy your meme coins, your utility coins at Terraport. Also, Crypto Anu says Lunk is waking up big, jumping 53 spots in market rank and ripping 60% today. This isn't a small move. This is momentum with force. Now, I don't know that that's going to be the case. Did I predict this was going to happen over the last 2 days? Yes, I did. Was I sure that it was going to happen? No, I was not. When you look at the chart, though, look at what's going on right now. Where did I tell you yesterday the rejection area was going to be? The 200 MA. Where is the rejection area? Holy smokes, the 200 MA. So where did I tell you that it was ultimately going to go and settle? Right into the volume node. Where did I tell you the volume node is? It's right here. We circled it, guys. Like it literally did exactly what I said, but only what I said in the absolute 100% best case scenario. Okay, so this was, in fact, a best case scenario. Now look at it on the hourly and you will see what I'm talking about right here. So if you accumulated over the last little while on your Terra Luna Classic, then look at this incredible move. This is brilliant. This is exactly what you've been waiting for in Terra Luna Classic for a long time. Now, it's not just Terra Luna Classic, it's also Luna having a big breakout as well. Now, here's what I'm going to say. If you accumulated down here at the bottom, I implore you to take your profit right now. I'm not sure that we can make it above the range here. So let me talk about that range. Look at that right there. See how much trade volume there is right here? Notice how quickly we got rejected right there. So the question that you might ask yourself on Terra Luna Classic is, what exactly is happening? Well, you just had a bunch of buyers step in on the dip, taking it back up to the trading range. Now, the trading range includes all of the people in the market who are panicked because of the dip. There's a bunch of people who bought and accumulated right here. And what are they going to do? They're going to get out right now, at break even. They're not assuming that it's going to go up to another level. That new level up there is going to be right in this little range right here at 408. So when we look at it on a volume profile, look at this right here. So there's that volume node right there that we can see clearly playing out, and that is this right here. But then there's another one right there, right at about 8. And then there's another one right here, right at about 95. Okay, so those are the ranges of volume profile that we're going to be going into. Now, the question is, can we make it above this volume node right here? That's the one that matters the most. If we can break above that and use that as support, then yes, there is a rally. If we can't, then the rally's going to die. And I would suspect, most likely, that we're not going to survive that to the point that we are right now. Now, if I had done a Fibonacci a little while ago, this wouldn't matter. But what I told you guys yesterday in my video was, we make it up to here, and then you're going to have that retracement, and that retracement is going to bring you back down to around 4038. That's going to be sort of the accumulation zone, which is going to be right on top of this green box. I guess if you didn't watch yesterday's Luna Classic video, you can go back and watch it, and I explained it all to you. My idea here was that we would rip into this range, that we would come back here for a correction right on the top right here. Then we would come back up to this 463 right here. Then we would break back down into that 3 range, a little bit higher than we were before, but we would catch this sort of trend right there, that little trade volume right there, and then boom, that's where we would actually break out and then start to go above this zone. Now, if you want to go back and fact check it, this is what we did 24 hours ago. The first move of that has already played out. So now we'll see whether or not that's going to continue. So look for some aggressive moves on Terra Luna Classic. Doesn't mean that it's all going to be upwards, by the way. Like this is, I think this is a problem area. Again, this is where people are selling out on the market because they're like, wow, I finally made most of my money back. I'm getting out of this volatile, crazy stuff right here. Okay, so, and they're going to be wrong. I think that, Lunk is probably going to keep zooming a little bit over the next few days. So I would say that, sellers are going to get wrecked at this point, but I don't know that for sure. Again, I don't think you should sell your entire bag, but I think you should take some of the risk off of the table. That is just my opinion. If and only if, by the way, you bought and you accumulated down here at that 26 area, 27 area, 28 area, go ahead and take your money off the table and ride your moon bag and just let it go and see what happens right there. If you want to accumulate a little bit more on the dip, again, I think that dip is going to come down to the bottom of this range right here. I think we're going to come back down to 4037 at least. So be watching for that to play out. And by the way, when you look at let me show you what it looks like on the volume. Look at the volume here. Volume is up to 185 million on Terra Luna Classic. I want to tell you. I want to tell you. Okay, there's about 10 million per day that gets traded. Okay, there's about 10 million per day, maybe sometimes 15 million that gets traded on Terra Luna Classic. Now the markets that do the trading are usually Binance. So Binance has 46 million, 19 million, and 16.5 million. L-Bank is going crazy right now. Orange X, Pionex, all these guys are going kind of crazy right now. But the burn that Binance is experiencing right now, we are going to have a significant burn on Terra Luna Classic over the next month. This is a significant, and I mean significant, amount of burn. This is 1,680% in volume increase. This kind of crazy sort of stuff happening right here, this kind of crazy stuff right now is great for the ecosystem and great for the burn process. So Binance right now is going to have a massive burn. And by the way, if you don't pay attention to the burns or the burn tracker here, The last time we had a big burn like that was at the first of the month, and it was Binance burning, I think, 567 or 570 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. Same thing back at the beginning of November, right there, 672, but 570 million or so was what Binance burned at that time. Again, it's just been kind of right between 5 and 600. And that's based on volume that we just hit for the month in a day. So there's probably going to be over 1 billion burned very shortly. So crazy things happening in this ecosystem right now. By the way, let's take it a step further and look at USTC. You're not gonna believe this one. I'm no fan. I don't think that this thing has a future, but good. Up 2,000%, 28 million in trade volume right now. Market cap is up 28% on the day to 43 million. Back up to, and again, I have a little bit of it, but I moved most of it back over into Lunk a while back. Didn't catch the bottom exactly, but I got pretty close to it. So Luna Classic having a very, very nice moment right now. Also, not to be outdone here, Luna, the Luna project, which was the replacement for Lunk when UST and Luna depegged. This became Luna 2, and look at it. It's actually breaking back out, not nearly as much as Lunk, by the way, but we're getting a nice little surge on Luna as well. These are two ecosystems that exist out here that just, they're just going to have to build. They're going to have to build their audiences. They're going to have to continue to attract new eyes to pay attention. Again, my thing here is it's attracted to volume. When we zoom out here, where do we find the volume? So we're going to come back out here and we're going to look at it like from a volume node standpoint, like where are we? So where can we predict it's going to go next? All right. So we zoom out here and we see right now that we're just at the bottom of the zone. So Luna has to break above 15 cents before anybody's going to really look at it that way. And then it's going to have to break out up here into that 40-cent range. So, there's a possibility that it breaks out that way. I don't think so, but, anything is entirely possible. So, yeah, it's going to be a wild ride, I think. Hope it doesn't end. I really hope that it doesn't end. I would certainly like to see this break above and go through this zone right here, liquidate people. That's really what I want to see. I want to see people getting liquidated. Let's get back into chat real quick. Washington Heights veteran says Lunk doing its thing. OMG casinos. Lunk is on fire like you said. You know what? I got lucky. You know what I mean? I got absolutely lucky. Dark Brenneman says Pablo is building an ecosystem focused on social media, AI, and gaming. Eventually, he plans to be PC GameFi. I think that was the name of the thing. Yeah, PC GameFi. There we go. For his products to generate revenue, which he can use to support the tokens MK Moon AI and PC GameFi. Feels like horrible governing. No. Ryo Morishima says, I'm gay. Ooh, dude, you don't have to tell people that. You can just say Packers. Oh, wait. You did. That's exactly what you said. That's my bad. I misread that. Janet Lachey says, I hope Duquan gets sent back to Korea and they use his money to restore Lunk. He doesn't have any money. That's a myth. He didn't make billions of dollars. Jump Crypto Trading made billions of dollars, and they already paid a financial penalty of $470 million to the U.S. government. You can go back and look at the lawsuits. Jump Crypto in 2022, Kanav, Korea. By the way, if you missed this, Janet, yesterday or the day before on one of my lives, I went over what was going on there, or on one of my Lunk videos, I went over what was going on there to the point that Duquan asked for a part. It'll be the video with Duquan's face on it. And basically they were saying that he was in contact constantly with Kanav, Korea, which I told you guys, that's what was going on. And it sure shit was. It really was. So, I don't know what happens next. But, again, I just want to see this thing break above some of these zones right here and, reestablish a little bit of bullishness. That white line right here, I'm going to show you this on the chart. That white line right there, that's the next big line to gain, and that's 409, which is another 100% from where we currently are. I don't know if we got the strength to do that right now. I don't know. I don't understand exactly what's going on here. If you go through and you start looking for reasons, Terra Luna Classic, go look at the news here. Lunk price surges by 33% in 24 hours. Why is it rallying? Let's go to FX Street and see if they have an idea. Roughly 9 might have been burned by December so far. Fueling recovery. No, that nobody. No. Duquan's sentence is set for December 11 after he pleaded guilty to fraud. I mean, maybe they're just looking at that and Duquan. I don't know. So I have no idea. The R2 pivot point is at 5107. We already knew that. We already, we're all looking at the same thing. Moving average shows a steady rise relative to its signal line. Like, guys, nothing is accounting for, there's no news out here that's accounting for what's going on right now. There really is not. There is just a ton of volume, a ton of speculation. We could look at total value on decentralized exchanges. Again, we need 10, 15, 20 billion, but we're not seeing that right now. We're seeing 3 billion plus 4 or 5 billion. We're seeing maybe 8 or so billion. I don't know. Like, I don't see where this volume is coming from. I don't see where everything is. I have no idea exactly what is going on here. Like, it doesn't make any sense at this point, but why argue? You know what I mean? Now let's look at this on the 1-day chart. This is crypto banter bubbles. Let me know which one of these looks most like Rand's eye. Hash is 10.64%, Zcash up 9%, Pulse X up 7%. The rest of the market down just a little bit on the day. You've seen a little life from Tron, but it's really sideways action. I suspect that that's just Justin Sun protecting his ecosystem, throwing money at it. In the 1 to 200 category, you got Maxi over here up 361%. You got Lunk up 81% right now, having that absolute breakout moment. Certainly want to see that. Want to see that continuing to happen. Not sure exactly how that's going to play out. The longer we zoom out, the worse it's going to look, by the way. Going into the 2 to 300 category, FTT token. Why is that pumping? Oh, my God. Pulse Hex or P Hex, whatever it is, up 7%. So we're seeing a little bit coming out of that ecosystem. Richard Hart ecosystem. Omni up 60%. Nope. 500s. We got Piverse up 15%. MW ETH up 23%. Luna up 41%. Boom, boom, boom. We've got Opt. We've got CLO. This is not easy to navigate. This is bullshit, by the way. The other site's better for navigation. This is better for aesthetics, though. Fine, Rand did something good. Cloud 18%, CVC 22%, Opt up 17%, Light down 31%. Let's go into the 6 to 700 category, and there's USTC right there. USTC right there, up 27% on the day. So, listen, this is a pretty good breakout, though. Even though we are focusing on utility altcoins, I'm still going to keep my bald head warm with a Volted Believer beanie. You know what? I wear mine. As a matter of fact, I've been wearing the Descendants and a Superman one when I go to the gym and stuff like that. But I also have one of the bright yellow. I use one of the bright yellow ones, and I was wearing it all day yesterday. I have a bunch of them, of course, but I've got a black and yellow. I got the 2 different colors, and then just a bunch of different ones. But also, one of the other things is I've lost so much weight that some things just don't fit me the same way that they did before. The Descendants hat, I have the Milo Descendants hat. Let's see. I have that one right there is the one that I have. So it's just got Milo around the entire thing, and then the Descendants right on the brim. For some reason, I don't know if my head shrunk or what, but it barely fits anymore. So I was wearing it until I realized, like, I'm swimming in this hat. So, we're not going to do that anymore. Fear Greed Index is at 28, but I am wearing it, I guess was the point. On the 24-hour, where are we going? This looks like Bitcoin's ready to rip to the upside, by the way. If you're looking at just a pure liquidity grab opportunity, just really seems like the top side is where the money is pooling right now. If you look at it on the 1 month, You know, maybe we get a different perspective. I don't think we get a different perspective, though. I think what we're looking at right now is a surge up above 95 right now. And remember, my thesis here was that we have to close above 91,400, and we have to continue to surge. We did not continue to surge. The first thing that we did, which I told you guys was needed, is we have to close above 91,400. Now look at this on a daily chart. We did not close above 91,400, or I'm sorry, we did not stick to 91,400. So we could be looking at some downside. We might be looking at some downside. Dow Jones up 190 points today. So crypto continuing to dip like it's doing right now seems like a manipulation situation, especially when you've got the surge with Lunk and Luna going on right now. That means that a ton of capital is going into a specific project. Maybe over the next couple of days, we're going to see something happen with Lunk. But, you know, when we step out and we look at the market from a bigger and wider perspective, we did not get to where I told you we needed to go. Now, to give you an idea, and I don't mean to be right on this, by the way. I do not mean to be right. I'm hoping always to be wrong, but that's why they pay me the minimum wage. You know what I mean? Oh, by the way, boom. Terra Luna Classic is absolutely taking off. Look at that. That's my arms, by the way. I'm impressed. I've put in the work. And look at that. Six-pack flabs. Not really, but getting there, getting there. Thank you guys for your support, by the way. Where are we? Oh, me when Lunk is up 25% on the week. By the way, it's up 100% now. It's crazy. And I got Open Pit Hickory Barbecue, by the way, for 69 cents a bottle, which was pretty good. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Step one of closing above 91.4 is completed. Now we need a bit of momentum to about 97,000 and then a correction back down to 91.4K and a strong bounce, and we're so back. Now, the reason I said that is because if you come down here, what I told you about it before was going to be right there without a surge in price and a close above 91.4. By the way, we didn't stay there, is doomed to dump again. Every time we get a surge, it's followed by America waking up and dumping. Manipulation, but manipulation still counts. Close above 91.4 and we're in a rally, dump, and it's going to be a long winter. So I guess what I should have said when I said close, that we would also have to use 91.4K as support. And right now we are not. That might change over the next couple of hours. I want you guys to understand that, you know, just a dip down here with this wick, we would get a nice little hammer wick showing some upward momentum, would still be a continuation of it. But if we cannot close above 91.4K right now, and the reason for that is because look at that, that is a volume area. If we don't close above that and start to make our way into the next sort of volume node, which is going to be right up here at about 102,000. If we can't get the momentum to get into that range, then sellers are going to, the holders, the buyers, the people who are thinking that maybe we're in a bear market, they're going to start getting out too. They're going to start disappearing. When that happens, we're just going to be kind of screwed. Now, the good thing that you can say about it is when you look at one of these volume nodes, what you're looking at is you're looking at range, right? So the range of it, and if we use a rectangle here, we get a better idea of what the range looks like because it starts like right here and it goes up to right here. And if we look at it from that context, that's basically picture perfect. Now we've got a little bit of a wick up the top here, you know, coming up into this secondary little node right there. But that big node right there is playing picture perfect on this chart right now. So, you know, if we have this, by the way, it's a good range, by the way. It's about 3%. Does that look right? About 3%? Let's call it 4%. It's a 4% range. So if you come down to the bottom, by the way, if you get an $89,800 opportunity, down into let's pop this up. Let's do this. We'll call this a potential sideways range. So what we've seen so far is you come down to 89,835, and then you come back up to the top of that node, the top of that range, which is at 93.5, and you sell. And then at that point you short, and then you let it come back down. And if you're doing that, this is your potential trade range right now. So we could see just some sideways movement here until we touch this. I suspect that once we've done a little sideways trading here, maybe we're going to touch that bar, and then that's going to be the breakout moment right there, or the breakdown moment, possible. But again, people are going to get tired of holding if we don't continue to make some upside momentum. So we'll see how that goes. Ultimately, I'm not sure exactly how this plays out. Now, let's talk about real quick. We're going to go down here and we're going to talk about the things that we're going to talk about going forward. We're going to be talking a lot more about Ethereum and what's going on in Ethereum. We're going to be talking a lot more about Solana and what's going on in Solana. We're going to be talking a lot more about Tau and what's going on in Tau. If Dev ever gets its shit together and we actually see a pump off of it that's more than 40 cents, then we're going to be talking about Dev all the time. Arrow, we're going to be talking about some Arrow. We're going to be talking about, maybe not USTC, we're going to be talking about Zebek Network. We're going to be making content tailored to some of these new up-and-coming sort of projects that are starting to catch a little bit of heat. And we're going to see what we can do with those. Rio, Real.io, I'm not really a big fan, but look at this breakout that it's having right now. Again, continuation of, maybe it's got something to do with Luna Classic. I really don't know. I really don't know. But we're going to start covering a lot of these and, leaning into some of these communities and stuff like that. So that's, I'll give you guys over the next couple days, you're going to start seeing some changes on the channel. You're going to start seeing a lot of different things that I hope you've been wanting me to do, that maybe we haven't done, or that we're going to improve in what we're doing. If you need education, if you need to know exactly what's going on in the world, the Crypto School is down in the description down below. You can subscribe to that, and you can learn everything that you could possibly want to know about cryptocurrency. Some of it from me, some of it from other people. And you should be able to get everything that you need from that. As well, if you want to track your trades, trackmytrades.ai is down below. You can start filling out all of your trades right now. If you got a Luna Classic trade, put it in there right now and let the AI algorithm on Track My Trades tell you what you should be doing. Give your average DCA. I think you might be able to do it with your wallet, but give your average DCA, let it know exactly what it is that you're doing. It'll evaluate you and tell you whether you're doing a good job or a bad job, and it'll tell you what to do next. By the way, and I think it's only like $10 a month or $20 a month in order to have that AI algorithm tell you exactly what it is that you need to do. Like, it's actually kind of crazy that you can do stuff like that in today's world. So, let me know what you think, guys, in the comment section down below. Today we've covered Ben Armstrong. We know that Atozy lied about Ben Armstrong. Isaiah McCall and Sam Cooling created an article that simply was not true, based in fact, but left out an enormous amount of detail in that he's not facing 15 years in prison, and some of the things that were going on are just not exactly true. So, and by the way, for that, I want to say this, Ben is still my friend. We still wish Ben all the best, and absolutely hope that Ben can continue his recovery from all of this kind of stuff. And I hope that finally that they, whatever gets settled right now, they give, Discover Crypto cuts the check and pays for what they've done. Okay. And by the way, when I don't mean that in a punitive way, I mean that in a business that separates, the 66.7% majority stakeholder should get 66.7% in payout from the company as his exit money. So he's supposed to be getting quite a bit. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And we wish Ben all the best, and we hope that everything works out. So that's it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Nothing that I say, by the way, is financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do. I have a slogan that I'm using here. I'm always right, so you don't have to be. But the reality is there's risks in the market. There's risks all of the time. I don't have to be right all the time, okay? You don't have to be right all the time. If you are trading, you only have to be right 51% of the time to make money. If you're right 55%, that's even better. If you're right 60%, you're a legend, okay? So you don't have to always be right. You just have to make a few good calls and make sure that you're managing your risk appropriately. If you're using leverage trading, set your stop losses. Don't fool around with anything more than a 10% loss. Never let it just go until you get liquidated. Let yourself get stopped out. Let yourself accumulate on the dip one more time. Sometimes you can't see clearly. Sometimes you just need to let the algorithm do it. So if you put $1,000 in, you don't want to stop at 10% because you're afraid that it's going to reverse. Well, guess what? If you don't, you could lose $1,000. Lose your $100, learn your lesson, wait for the dip, wait until you feel like the market is ready for a reversal, and then put that 900 back in, and that 900 will become 1,200 very quickly. You just have to manage your risk. That's all you have to do. Manage your risk in this business, okay? It's not financial advice. I'm always right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, the biggest thing that you can do for me is always hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to become a member, and then finally, just leave a comment down below after the show. It helps me out tremendously. I don't have an outro video, so you don't have to sit around and wait for it. Just when I hit the end broadcast button here, you guys go and leave a comment. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go hit the end broadcast button right about now. So we'll talk to you guys again very